The moment my boyfriend's first love returned to the country, he dumped me. Just as I was being mocked by him, my aloof boss appeared, looking utterly disappointed. What, revenge? After hitting send on a research report to my boss, it was finally quitting time. This month had been exhausting. My period arrived early, and my lower abdomen felt like it was being punched repeatedly. My back ached so badly I could barely stand straight. I shuffled step by step to the break room and called my boyfriend Johnny. Strangely, he didn't answer after 3 rings. What was going on? Johnny always answered my calls immediately. If something happened, he'd drop everything to be there. Could something have happened? Just then, a dainty little purse clattered onto the table in front of me. Its owner wore an indigo bohemian maxi dress, her long wavy hair cascading down. She shot me a disdainful glance, sizing me up from head to toe. So you're Lonnie, Johnny's girlfriend? I have no idea how Johnny ended up with someone like you. She didn't need to introduce herself. I recognized her instantly. Johnny's first love, Sherry. Back in college, Johnny was madly in love with this ex-girlfriend. It was common knowledge, and it always stuck in my throat. I lifted my eyelids, meeting her gaze with cool indifference. So, what if she was an ex? The prefix ex made it past tense. 4 years ago, Sherry chose to study abroad in France and dumped Johnny. Now she wanted to come crawling back. But now Johnny's girlfriend is me. Miss Lonnie, I'm here to inform you that Johnny and you have broken up. Please stop bothering him. Sherry spoke with casual indifference, yet inside me, thunder crashed. When had Johnny reconnected with his ex? The harsh lights in the lounge cast my shadow across the marble wall. I stared blankly at that shadow, never feeling so utterly alone and desolate. Then I heard my own tense, dry voice echoing from afar. I don't believe it, Miss Sherry. Please stop joking. Deep down, a small voice whispered it wasn't a joke. I knew Johnny's feelings for Sherry better than anyone. 3 months into our relationship, Johnny left his social media logged into my computer. I accidentally clicked through his linked accounts and discovered his secret profile. There, he documented every little moment spent with his ex-girlfriend. He called Sherry Piggy Girl, took photos for her, cooked for her, even put her shoes on for her. In the comments section, Johnny left a fiercely sweet message. Piggy Girl, I'm so lucky to be your other half. I'll always be by your side in the future. You're a loving big boy. Those words were like a corner of a curtain being pulled back, revealing a different Johnny, a childish, clingy Johnny. A man is just a child in front of the one he loves. It's not that Johnny didn't like me. It's just that compared to this fiery passion, his affection felt too calm, too formulaic. When I showed him the alternate account, he sighed with a mix of regret and emotion, his eyes tinged with sadness. Why are these posts still here? Haven't you deleted them yet? Now, the woman documented in that account stood right before me. I recalled a saying, when an ex cries, the current partner loses. My ex hasn't even cried yet, and I've already lost. Miss Lonnie, I'm not joking. Don't believe me? Call Johnny. He stopped answering your calls ages ago, didn't he? Sherry scoffed lightly, pulling out her phone and dialing Johnny's number. How could things turn out like this? Last night, Johnny bought me my favorite Black Forest cake, then wrapped his arms gently around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. In just one day, he's already with Sherry? Sherry put the call on speaker. Johnny answered with his soft voice. In that instant, I was utterly defeated. A pain like having my heart ripped out and bones crushed threatened to tear me apart, wringing me dry. Had these past 3 years been wasted? Amidst this searing agony, a surge of betrayed fury rose within me. Johnny, it's me. Explain yourself. When did you start seeing her? I'm your girlfriend, aren't I? Lonnie, why are you here? Let me explain, Johnny's gentle tone carried a hint of panic. The fiercer my inner rage burned, the clearer my mind became. I'm asking you, Sherry said you broke up with me. Is that true? An awkward silence hung in the air. Sherry wore a victorious smile. Johnny's silence burned me like fire. If Sherry hadn't shown up, Who knows how long I'd have been deceived. I snatched Sherry's phone and berated this scumbag. At that moment, I was truly furious. Johnny, since you chose Sherry, I congratulate you both on getting back together. For me, love isn't about who came first, it's about fair competition. Maybe when Sherry came back, she won. You chose her, and I have no complaints. What makes me furious is that you were playing both sides, stringing me along while you were with someone else. That disgusts me. After that long rant, I didn't bother waiting for Johnny's response. I hung up the phone decisively. Sherry eyed me up and down, her tone dripping with contempt. You work here. Anyone unaware would think HR here is dysfunctional for hiring someone like you. A hint of pity tinged her voice, perfectly complimenting her flawless attire and elegant demeanor. Even her condescension carried undeniable confidence. And I looked like a country bumpkin next to her. I opened my mouth, but couldn't find the words. Just then, a clear, calm female voice rang out, "Ma'am, this is the company break area. Unrelated personnel are kindly requested to leave promptly and refrain from occupying company resources." It was Betty, the assistant to Executive Louis. Under Betty's gentle yet cold gaze, Sherry had no choice but to leave. "Betty, thank you. I'll buy you coffee tomorrow." I stood up, clutching my lower abdomen, and murmured my gratitude to Betty. To be honest, I was surprised. Betty was notorious in the company for being unapproachable, handling only Louis's daily affairs. Why would she step in to speak kindly for me today? Betty gave me a formulaic smile. "Don't thank me. This is all Louis's idea." Following Betty's gaze, I glanced sideways behind me. A tall, imposing man stood by the bar, a deep blue tie around his neck. His dark eyes, hidden beneath his brow bone, were unfathomably deep, fixed intently on me. Louis, the company's youngest executive, had formally joined management 2 years prior after a stellar merger deal. My heart pounded under his unfathomable gaze. What was going on? Why was Louis, the executive with a mountain of responsibilities, suddenly paying attention to me, a lowly employee? Could it be he was upset I left work early today? Louis had a reputation in the company as the Dark Lord, demanding extreme rigor from his subordinates. Colleagues in my office area often complained behind his back about his obsessive standards for research reports, though there was a hint of pride and satisfaction in his perfectionism. After all, not everyone gets the chance to work directly with Louis. While strict, he was also highly capable and offered substantial perks to his team. "Thank you, Louis," I said sincerely. Louis walked over to the desk opposite mine. He towered a full head above me. I barely reached his shoulders, and my flats were as thin as they could possibly be, forcing me to look up at him. "Call me Louis," he murmured, his eyes briefly lingering on my hand pressed over my stomach. "What's wrong?" "Feeling unwell. Sit down." Louis gave me a gentle tug, and I collapsed onto the sofa, gasping for breath as cold sweat beaded on my forehead. The next moment, Louis strode toward the kitchenette. When he returned, he held a cup of hot tea. His green submariner watch looked oddly out of place, gripping the disposable paper cup. "Drink it? The pain will subside soon." His usually stern tone carried an unexpected hint of gentleness. Such kindness from the big boss was truly rare. "Thank you." I lifted the cup, swallowed the ibuprofen, and tipped it back dry. "Work is important, but you must take care of yourself." As he spoke, Louis's gaze drifted slowly across the transparent coffee table, settling on my lower abdomen. Though his eyes remained cold and unyielding, they seemed to hold a smoldering fire. My body stiffened, my scalp tingled, and I felt as if my entire being had caught fire. My face flushed. I inwardly scoffed. Wasn't the big boss going a bit too far? I wanted to turn away, escape his gaze, regardless, even if it came from concern. Such a greeting, such a look, it was still too bold, too unrestrained. Perhaps sensing my discomfort, Louis cleared his throat twice, turned his body, and beckoned a waiter for a cup of coffee. Regaining my composure, I pulled out my phone and contacted my best friend, Luna. "Luna, I broke up. I'll be staying with you for a while. Is that okay?" "Okay or not okay? Just come over." Lenny, what happened? Dropping such a bombshell all of a sudden? It's complicated. I'll tell you later. After Luna agreed, I started booking a moving company to help transport my belongings. Having lived with Johnny for a year, I had quite a lot of luggage. I couldn't bear to part with anything still usable. You need a moving company? I happen to be free tonight. I could help you move. Louis looked up from across the table. I nearly choked on the warm water in my mouth at his words. I'd almost forgotten this guy existed. Was he just being polite, showing his concern for subordinates? How could I take a big boss's courtesy seriously? Thank you, sir, but no need to trouble yourself. I can handle it myself. Louis's time was so valuable every minute could earn him a fortune. How could I dare take up his time? After hearing my response, Louis's face visibly darkened. He quipped sarcastically, "Am I that much older than you?" I was utterly baffled. Why would the big boss say that? Not old, not old. I looked up at Louis's face. His features were long and angular, his jawline sharply defined, as if naturally cast in shadow. Who would think Louis was old? Female college students interning with us over summer would swoon over him for days after meeting him. Thank you, but there's no need to trouble yourself. I can handle this myself, I repeated. To my surprise, Louis propped his hand on his head, his gaze sweeping over me as his voice dropped low. Not at all. I froze completely. This was moving. Just odds and ends. The total cost probably wouldn't even cover the tip of Louis's shoe. Louis said, "You have 5 seconds to decide. You can accept or refuse." If you refusing him, that would be deliberately antagonizing my boss. Then, thank you. The Mercedes SUV drove all the way to the apartment building. Louis followed me upstairs. I was busy packing my luggage and had no time to pay him any mind. As I stuffed clothes into my suitcase, Louis stood there in his light-colored shirt, his suit jacket draped over his arm. His gaze drifted casually toward the balcony. I followed his line of sight. It was my underwear freshly washed last night. A few pieces hung high on the balcony clothesline, including a sexy lace bra swaying in the breeze. I never imagined such intimate traces would be seen by the big boss. Worse still, he stared at them intently. Damn it, where was his kindness? Just then, Louis cleared his throat with a low, husky sound. Quite the playful side you have. My face flushed instantly. Louis's gaze fixed on me without concealment, a faint smile playing at the corners of his mouth. His eyes, however, remained unreadable, leaving me uncertain of his true thoughts. The explicit images flooding my mind made me want to retch. These things were supposed to be beautiful. What wasn't beautiful was that they happened with a scumbag. I banished the scumbag from my mind, no longer caring what Louis thought. Stepping out onto the balcony, I drew the curtains with a sharp swish and began gathering my clothes one by one. Only when the cool breeze swept in through the window did I regain a fraction of my composure and resume packing. Moving my belongings out of the rental room piece by piece felt like extracting my ex-boyfriend Johnny from my life. After all, he was the boy I'd loved, the one who'd fed me little cakes for 3 years. When I saw the little rabbit stuffed animal Johnny had given me, I couldn't hold back the tears anymore. I crouched in the corner of the bedroom and cried silently. He was a jerk, but the feelings I poured into him over those 3 years were real. Lonnie, save your crying for my car. You don't want your ex-boyfriend to come back and see you crouched here looking like this, do you? Louis said, handing me a stack of tissues. Through tear-filled eyes, I looked up at him. Louis' expression was calm, lacking his usual sharpness and critical gaze. Anything left? I'll help you carry it down. Let's get this over with. I have to admit, Lou was a very responsible, moving crew. Like a diligent worker ant, he carefully loaded the rice cooker and air fryer I brought to this rental apartment into the back seat of his Mercedes, piece by piece. Only one suitcase remained. Louis lifted it and stepped into the elevator. Little did I know this suitcase, bought during my freshman year, had served me for 7 or 8 years. Its leather exterior was battered and bruised, and the zipper finally gave way. With a loud rip, the suitcase split open, spilling my clothes onto the floor. Small items of clothing and sanitary pads, neatly packed in transparent plastic bags, spilled all over the floor. For a moment, Louis stood surrounded by a pile of colorful women's garments and sanitary pads, his face darkening further. I hurriedly bent down to pick them up, but just then, a sharp pain shot through my lower abdomen. I stumbled backwards, slumping against the elevator wall, unable to straighten my back. A warm flow surged out, and when I caught my reflection in the elevator mirror, my face looked even paler than before. "Are you okay?" Louis reached out, taking hold of my arm. Gritting my teeth, I forced out "I am fine," before trying to bend down and gather the scattered garments. "Don't move. I'll handle it," Louis declared firmly. He bent his imposing frame, muscles taut beneath his shirt from intense workouts, their contours sharp. His sleeves rolled up to his forearms revealed a stretch of tanned skin, the tendons on his hands clearly visible. Without another word, he gathered my scattered clothes and stuffed them into the suitcase. When his long fingers gripped the bag holding my underwear, his movements slowed noticeably. Through the sheer fabric, the red and white patterns of the lingerie became increasingly distinct. This was so mortifying. Mortifying, yet tinged with a hint of sensuality. The man crouched on the floor was Louis, a company executive, the boss of my boss. And he was holding my lingerie bag. His dismissive remark, "You sure know how to have fun," echoed in my mind, and my cheeks flushed against my will. Through the elevator mirror, I saw 2 fiery clouds floating across my face. How could I bear this? Why did my stomach ache now, of all times? Why did my suitcase break now, of all times? Louis gathered the items, lifted the suitcase, and stood up. His positioning was remarkably calculated, barely an arm's length away from me. He tilted his head slightly, looking down at me. His dark eyes crinkled with laughter, revealing the faint lines beneath them. Amidst his cold, stern demeanor, there was an added aura tinged with earthly desire. "Why are you blushing so fiercely?" he asked in a deep voice. "It's hot," I replied, hiding a flicker of embarrassment and maintaining a composed expression. My things fell. "I'm sorry for the spectacle." Louis' smile faded at my words. "Let's go. If we don't hurry, your ex-boyfriend will be here soon." I followed Louis out of the elevator. The car doors slammed shut, and we sped toward Luna's place. About half an hour later, my phone rang again. It was Johnny calling. "Lonnie, did you take all your things?" "Did you leave the keys here?" Johnny sounded shocked. "Are you just going to abandon me like this?" "Johnny, get this straight. I'm not your girlfriend anymore. If you need something, go talk to Sherry." "Lonnie, I haven't really thought it through, honestly. I bought you a little cake. I was waiting for you to come back and eat it." "Enough. I'm hanging up. What good would his words do now? After getting back together with Sherry, was he just going to come crawling back to me?" "Lonnie, please don't hang up. Where are you? I'll come find you." "Wait for me." I took a deep breath, ready to yell at Johnny, when Louis suddenly reached out with his large hand and snatched my phone away. What's done is done. No more calls to Lenny. Louis snapped the phone shut with a click. I stared at him in surprise. Why did it feel like he was reacting more intensely than I was to my ex-boyfriend calling? But weren't we just boss and employee? He'd only helped me move luggage once. Somehow, the distance between us seemed to shrink subtly in the night air. A man who can't commit, what use is he? Louis delivered his verdict on the scumbag with finality. His foot slammed on the door, the engine roared to life, and the car shot forward with a whoosh. A dull ache returned to my stomach. As I rubbed my lower abdomen, Louis suddenly reached over and adjusted the passenger side air vent. "Still hurting? Want me to order you a warm milk tea?" "No, thanks. I'll have my friend boil some water." "That'll warm me up." The concern in his tone felt so natural and practiced. I couldn't help but inwardly marvel. How could this big shot, who looked like the devil himself from afar and seemed untouched by women, be so skilled with girls up close? Was this just my imagination? The car slowly entered Luna's neighborhood. Her old-style residential complex had no elevator. Holding my stomach, I lifted my suitcase, prepared to do the heavy lifting. Put it here. I'll carry it. Since you're on your period, you should rest properly. Don't move around. Louis insisted on helping me carry everything, and I couldn't refuse. Luna, however, was quite surprised to see this high-ranking, handsome guy helping me move things. She gave me a knowing wink. Louis carried everything up to Luna's rental apartment piece by piece. He even specifically asked Luna for an old plastic water bottle, filled it with hot water, wrapped it in a towel, and handed it to me. Here, warm your stomach. Under Luna's persistent nudging, I reluctantly took the bottle and placed it on my lower abdomen. The warmth from the hot water made my stomach feel much better. Thank you so much for today. I'll make sure to repay you properly when I get back to the office, I said sincerely to Louis. After a night of labor, Louis was covered in a light sheen of sweat. His light-colored shirt clung to his chest, leaving faint traces. I caught the faint, elusive scent of cedarwood on him mingled with the faintly salty tang of his sweat, a potent hormonal aura. No need for favors. Just treat me to dinner, Louis replied without batting an eye. Why did I suddenly find this big boss kind of adorable? Asking me to treat him to dinner, and the tone was almost commanding. No problem. Wherever you want, it's on me, I thought to myself, planning to invite Betty along too. Once everything was tidied up, Louis drove the Mercedes slowly out of the residential complex. Lonnie, you move way too fast, Luna exclaimed as she watched the Mercedes glide out of the compound. Move too fast? I asked, confused. This is your new fling. Pretty swift. Good for you and Johnny? He's nothing but a pile of shit compared to him. Luna listened to the details of my breakup and couldn't hide her contempt for Johnny. I admit Johnny was a piece of shit. But where did Luna's imagination run wild? Louis was a high-ranking executive. Why would he be interested in a lowly nobody like me? He'd just seen me weak and pitiful today and helped out on a whim. That way, he could squeeze even more out of me at work tomorrow. No, Lonnie, you're just hurt by a jerk? Let me tell you, you're good-looking and competent at work. It's no surprise the big boss took a shine to you. Look, he helped you move stuff today. Drove you here. Isn't that enough to show he's interested? Good-looking? What's so good-looking about me? It's just Luna's beauty in the eyes of a friend. The reflection showed a woman with a ponytail, dressed in a conservative office outfit, yet her eyes sparkled with intelligence and vitality. Truth be told, I wasn't bad-looking. But then I thought of Sherry in her indigo dress, her long wavy hair looking so bold and confident. I felt like a popped balloon deflating instantly. Come on, how is Sherry prettier than you? She's just a pretty face and not even as good looking as you. Oh wait, no. Lenny, you're a pretty face with brains. I think you've been reading too many novels about domineering CEOs falling for me. People need to keep their feet on the ground. Live your own life well. I tapped Luna's head as I spoke. Look. Louis seems to be from the same university as you. He's even your senior? Luna held up her phone, still relentlessly gossiping. I leaned in to see Louis' resume laid out clearly online. I had always assumed Louis came from a wealthy family. Little did I know he too hailed from a small town, worked his way into a top university through sheer determination, then secured a full Ivy League scholarship thanks to his exceptional programming skills. After graduation, he joined our company as a specially recruited talent. His outstanding abilities propelled him into management within less than 2 years. In a way, he shares the same background as me. I couldn't help but recall Sherry's disdain. The confidence she displayed when looking down on me stemmed largely from her background. But what someone like Sherry, born into privilege, could achieve, I believed I could also attain through my own efforts. I thought that by moving out of Johnny's rental and deleting his contact info, Sherry and Johnny would fade completely from my life, never to intersect again. What I hadn't anticipated was that within the next month, Sherry would join our company's fall recruitment drive and become a colleague on the same business line as me. Today after work, I spotted a familiar silhouette downstairs Johnny. My heart skipped a beat. Holding my breath, I tried to slip out another door, but Johnny seemed to have eyes in the back of his head. He spun around swiftly and called out to me, Lonnie! After a month apart, Johnny looked even more haggard. Stubble had sprouted, and faint dark circles hung beneath his eyes. But what did his exhaustion have to do with me? I ignored him and started walking the other way. Lonnie, I regret it. I shouldn't have broken up with you. That breakup was because Sherry pushed me too far. I didn't think clearly then. You know what? This past month, I've thought about you every single moment. Johnny's voice cracked as he spoke behind me. I've gotten used to having you around. Being with you feels more comfortable, more natural. I grew impatient, whirling around to stare up at him. If I'm not mistaken, you came to pick up Sherry from work today, right? If she overheard you saying all this to me, what would she think? Besides, Johnny, I've already given you chances. I've given you so many chances, but you never took them. Now that you've taken someone else's hand, don't expect to come back. Then give me one more chance, okay? Johnny hurried forward, blocking my path, cornered against the wall I couldn't escape. His towering frame loomed over me, making me acutely aware of the physical disparity between us. If he wanted to harm me, I'd be powerless to resist. Lonnie, another voice called out just then. Louis strode over, towering half a head above Johnny. Dressed in a light-colored shirt and black suit, he radiated authority, making Johnny look like a frail scholar by comparison. Under Louis' imposing presence, Johnny took a few steps back, allowing me to slip out of the corner. Louis shielded me behind him, his eyes sharp as a hawk's as he fixed Johnny with a stare. You better not let me catch you bothering Lenny again. Otherwise, we'll settle this like men do with our fists. Johnny looked at me in disbelief. Lenny, is this your boyfriend? I refused to waste words on Johnny and offered no explanation. A hint of sadness flickered across Johnny's brow. Lenny, I didn't expect you to find another man so quickly. His self-righteous surprise and hurt made me snap back. You're still chasing your first love. I'm single now. I'm considering my future and marriage. What's wrong with that? I gave a faint smile, no longer looking at Johnny, instead stepping closer to Louis. Tap, tap, tap. The soft click of high heels echoed. I spotted a figure in the distance, clad in a bohemian red dress. Unfortunately, it was Sherry. Sherry demonstratively hooked her arm through Johnny's sleeve and said unhappily, Miss Lonnie, please stop bothering my boyfriend. My blood boiled. Damn it, was Sherry that confident? Her boyfriend was nothing but a timid, indecisive man, constantly wavering. Was I really that blind to go chasing after him? How could she assume I was the one pursuing her boyfriend? Clearly, it was her boyfriend who was pursuing me. Ma'am, let's get one thing straight. It's your boyfriend who's been pursuing my girlfriend. Please rein him in and tell him not to corner people like that. Louis' large hands swept around my waist, pulling me into his embrace. I found myself sheltered within his arms. A faint cedar scent wafted from him, mingled with an intense hormonal aura that made my face flesh hot, burning with embarrassment. Johnny had held me countless times before, but never had it felt like an electric shock. For a moment in the midst of this argument, I found myself completely lost. Across from me, a flash of surprise crossed Sherry's face before quickly giving way to a sweet smile. Louis, are you saying Ms. Lemmy is your girlfriend? Yes. Louis didn't even blink, tightening his grip around my waist. All right, we'll leave you to it. Goodbye. A trace of disdain flickered across Sherry's lips, as if to say even the big boss has such poor judgment. She hooked her arm through Johnny's and led him toward the exit. Johnny stood there dumbfounded, simply carried away by Sherry. Once they were out of earshot, I quickly pulled away from Louis' embrace, my cheeks flushed. Thank you. But you didn't have to do that. Tomorrow the whole company will probably misunderstand that I'm your girlfriend. A misunderstanding? Then let's turn that misunderstanding into reality. Lenny, how about you be with me? Louis' gaze lingered on my face, lingering on the flesh there with a hint of amusement. I took a few steps back. No way. Was Luna telling the truth? Had the domineering CEO really taken a liking to me? The afterglow of the setting sun fell upon me, leaving me momentarily dazed, but I snapped back to reality quickly. Who was Louis? He was our company's manager, the kind who even held shares. I was just a lowly newbie who'd been at the company barely a year. If he wanted to date me, it was probably just for fun, right? I chose my words carefully. Sir, I think it's best we don't. I want a serious relationship, the kind that lasts, with marriage in mind. Besides, being single is great. Right now, I just want to focus on my career. Louis actually chuckled at my response. He rarely smiled. At work, he was always stern and tense. When he did smile, his voice was muffled and his sharp, chiseled features softened considerably, revealing an unexpected tenderness. Lonnie, who told you I wasn't looking for a committed relationship? You don't think I just want to play around, do you? I rolled my eyes. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Get in the car. Louis waved his keys at me and headed toward his SUV. I had no choice but to follow. In the car, my head was still spinning. Huh? The domineering CEO actually wants to date me? Boss. Call me Louis. I am Louis, I think. We're not compatible. Where exactly are we incompatible? I think we're quite compatible. Financially and professionally, we're not a good match. Not a good match? Lonnie, you really underestimate yourself. Could you please stop putting yourself down? Louis glanced at me indifferently. You got into a top university entirely on your own merits and secured a job offer from the company. The clients I handle have a very favorable impression of you. Really? Honestly, I'd said that to Louis half jokingly, half seriously. I hadn't expected him to respond so earnestly, nor had I anticipated him affirming me like this. He rarely compliments anyone in the workplace. Behind closed doors, the office staff privately call him the king of hell. Do I lie? Louis gave me a casual glance. I shook my head vigorously like a rattle. Louis took a small black velvet pouch and pressed it into my hand. Open it! I hesitated, so he opened the pouch himself, then unwrapped the box. Inside lay a Paytelli Pale Lady's watch. Take it. I've wanted to give you this watch for a long time. The size fits your wrist perfectly, Louis said, slipping the heavy watch into my palm. When had he even prepared a watch? His warm, large hand touched my arm, his rough fingers brushing my skin, sending a shiver through me. This watch, prepared long ago, made me realize his confession wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. It had been planned for a long time. Louis looked straight into my eyes, as if trying to see into my soul. I'll give you a month to decide. Will you be with me? What if I still haven't agreed after a month? Then we'll give it another month until you do. Unable to resist this, Louis, I stuffed the watch into my handbag. Carrying it home felt like carrying something heavy in my heart. Luna, with her sharp eyes, immediately stopped me. Winnie, I knew something was off. Spill it, why are you home so late? And your face is all flushed? Why are you guarding your bag so fiercely? Oh, I get it, the big boss asked you out, didn't he? Did Luna grow X-ray vision or something? How did she figure this out? Seeing my silence, Luna grew even more certain. KTSK, I knew it, the big boss definitely has a thing for you. How'd you figure that out? If he didn't like you, why would he help carry your luggage over and arrange everything so neatly? I think this guy is worth pursuing. Luna, just go for it. He appreciates you. I saw admiration in his eyes. Luna grew more certain. I ignored her, opening my business French textbook to continue memorizing. Does a man smell good? Nothing beats the smell of work. Our company is currently courting a major French client. My direct supervisor, Julie, told me to seize this opportunity and give the client a thorough product presentation. After a week of enthusiastic preparation, Julie suddenly called me into her office, looking troubled. Lenny, thanks to your leadership, this product line has really taken off. However, there are other considerations now. Since you didn't major in French, upper management is concerned about your communication skills. To secure this client, we've decided to assign the account to our new colleague, Sherry. I didn't catch every word Julie said, only a hazy outline. I froze in place, my vision going dark. After a long moment, I heard my own voice echoing from afar. No problem. I'll follow management's decision completely. I staggered back to my desk. For the past year since joining the company, I've been solely responsible for this product line. I'd poured my heart and soul into it, nurturing it like a fruit tree. Now, finally, it was about to bear fruit. But because I hadn't formally studied business French and my spoken skills weren't up to par, I'd lost the chance to harvest the fruit myself. Midway, I went to the restroom. Outside the door, two colleagues whispered, "Hey, heard they assigned the big client to Sherry." Of course, Lenny never studied in France. Her French probably sounds like a country bumpkin. What if she scares off the client? A cheerful laugh echoed from outside. Hiding behind the door, I listened to their conversation and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Was it true that no matter how hard I tried, simply because I came from an ordinary family and couldn't afford to study abroad, I'd lost such a great opportunity? This is the real workplace. It doesn't ask about fairness, only about efficiency. The day after Julie spoke with me, the company held a meeting to discuss the assignment. I sat at the edge of the room, head bowed. Diagonally across from me, I could see Sherry. She wore a perfectly tailored business skirt, her face adorned with a polished smile. No, I won't agree. This product line couldn't have been developed without Lenny's hard work. The client also has an excellent impression of Lenny. The client liaison task must fall to Lenny. Otherwise, I object. After Julie announced Sherry would handle client liaison, Lou spoke up, his opposition clear. His clear, deep voice echoed through the conference room. I snapped my head up, watching him from the corner. Louis's light-colored shirt was rolled up on his arm, buttoned all the way to the top. He looked like the abstemious CEO straight out of a romance novel. This very CEO was speaking up for me. Mark, the executive sitting opposite Louis, smiled faintly. Louis, we must prioritize the company's interests in all matters. The facts are clear. Sherry studied in France, and we've all witnessed her French proficiency. Lenny, however, completed her education domestically, and her French skills need refinement. Mark, Louis' peer, was a balding, middle-aged man with a double chin and a protruding belly. He and Louis had never gotten along. Room for improvement? Louis scoffed. Mark, who says employees educated domestically can't speak French well, that they lack the ability to handle French clients? Instead of arguing here, why not let Lenny and Sherry compete head-to-head? The best one wins. Besides, Sherry just joined the company and still needs to learn the ropes. Are you so sure Sherry will definitely outperform Lenny? By this point, anyone with eyes could see Louis was backing me, while Mark was backing Sherry. Enough. Let's settle this, as Louis suggested. In 1 week, Lenny and Sherry will rehearse the entire process. Whoever performs better will take the assignment. Meeting adjourned. The chairman, ranking higher than both Louis and Mark, made the final call. Choosing between Sherry and me in a week? I truly have no confidence. After work, as I was about to slink off to catch a cab back to Luna's place, Louis grabbed my arm. Lenny, I need to talk to you. Go ahead. Lenny, what's gotten into you? Why are you so lacking in confidence? I hung my head, my nose suddenly stinging. Sherry's cutting words still rang in my ears, along with the colleagues' mockery. I never worked in a fully French-speaking environment before. What if I really mess this up? Diexi, thank you for your kindness, but I've never been in a fully French-speaking environment. I'm worried I won't speak well enough. Perhaps sensing the underlying insecurity in my words, Louis' gaze softened. He reached out, placing both hands on my shoulders, as if trying to transfer strength to me. I have complete faith in you. A year ago, when Julie handed this project to you, you and upper management believed it could succeed. Look at it now, it's not only thriving, but thriving spectacularly. If anyone should lead this initiative, it's you. You built this entire business line from the ground up. I won't stand by while you hand over the fruits of your labor. Bet Sherry, does she really outshine you? To me, she's just a rookie who knows how to read the room and suck up. I've seen plenty like her. Louis made no effort to hide his opinion of Sherry. Handing over the fruits of your labor to her would also undermine the rules of fair competition in the workplace. Both professionally and personally, I demand you not do this. If you're truly afraid, don't be. I've got your back. I'll support you. All right. Even if only to live up to Louis' trust, this time I had to go all out. Louis delivered on his word. Over the next week, sacrificing 2 hours of sleep each night, he practiced business French conversation with me one-on-one in the office. His French was impeccably pure, his slang flowing effortlessly, used with perfect ease. During breaks from French practice, Louis shared snippets of his daily life at an Ivy League school. When recounting how he accidentally stumbled into studying programming and algorithms, Louis crossed his arms, leaning his tall, sturdy frame against the desk. His beautifully shaped almond eyes gazed out the window, reflecting the twinkling starlight. You won't believe this either, but before college, I'd never even touched a mouse or keyboard. When a computer science craze hit campus, I'd wake before dawn, grab a quick breakfast, and rush to the library to stake out a computer. I'd start with leak code and code all day long. Eventually, even the security guard recognized me. As he recounted his past, I listened patiently. Through his words, I could almost see a brilliant prodigy from a small county town using his 4 undergraduate years and 3 graduate years to desperately make up for what he'd missed compared to others before adulthood. I imagined that 20-year-old Louis, sandwich in one hand, textbook in the other, rushing toward the library. Through these vivid sketches, my affection for Louis deepened. I knew we were kindred spirits climbing upward, never ceasing to grow. With Louis as my gold medal sparring partner, my French-speaking skills skyrocketed. That week, I passed Sherry several times. She wouldn't even deign to glance my way. Then, the day before the assessment, I bumped into her again in the restroom. Lonnie, your desperate struggle is pathetic, but mark my words, victory belongs only to me. What do you have to compete with? Look at you, you dated Johnny for 3 years, yet the moment I appeared, you were utterly defeated. Utterly defeated? Not necessarily. Now I understand why Johnny told me after our breakup that he felt more comfortable with me. At her core, Sherry was arrogant and conceited. Spending time with someone like that made you acutely aware of her sharp, thorny heart like sitting on pins and needles. In the past, her sarcasm would have made me feel inferior. But now, remembering Louis's words of encouragement, I felt calm and unshaken. Miss Sherry, you're overthinking it. The outcome will be decided tomorrow. No need to gossip here. With that, I didn't want to say another word to her. I walked straight out of the restroom, leaving her alone to stew in her own frustration. The assessment concludes. Sherry demonstrated greater fluency and authenticity in French, but her use of technical terms was somewhat awkward. Frequent pauses also revealed her limited familiarity with this product line. While Lenny's French carried a slight accent, her presentation highlighted key selling points and features effectively. It's clear she possesses deep knowledge of the product line and has invested significant effort. I hereby announce that Lenny will be selected to host the client. Following the chairman's announcement, applause erupted. I rose amidst the clapping and gave a slight bow to everyone. In truth, the only person I needed to thank was Louis. He alone believed in my abilities from start to finish, encouraging and supporting me. My gaze drifted slowly toward Sherry. A strange smile played on her face, but it looked worse than crying. Truthfully, Sherry had lost to herself. She lost because she underestimated her opponent, acted carelessly, and believed she could snatch victory, the fruit of someone else's long cultivation, through petty schemes and cozying up to Mark. And I, through this trial, finally stepped out of the shadow of self-doubt. So, what if I'm a country bumpkin? A hardworking country bumpkin can still outshine their attorneys and shine brightly. The moment the clock struck quitting time, Louis rushed over to my desk, urging me to leave. What's up? Boss isn't pushing overtime today? I teased him. Plenty of time for that later. Right now, I've got something more important to do. What is it? Get in the car, you'll see. The moment I got in and the door closed, Louis pinned me down and kissed me fiercely. His kiss was utterly dominant, tangling with my tongue, refusing to let go. My eyes closed, my heart pounded like a drum, my whole body tingling. Louis always had this charm. Even someone as proud as me couldn't help but be conquered by him, falling completely for him. Lonnie, you have no idea how captivating you looked up there today, so confident and articulate. I'll tell you, I regret it. Only after kissing me breathless did Louis pull away, his voice hoarse as he murmured against my earlobe. What do you regret? I regret giving you a month. Promise me. I want you to be my girlfriend right now, immediately, this instant. When the time is right, we'll get married. Put this watch on, you're not taking it off. I cupped Louis's face, looking at him earnestly for the first time. His narrow eyes, high nose, sharp lips, and sensual jawline. This was my man. Louis, I agree. I promise you, because I'm just like you. Louis was a total dog. A real dog, a total dog. Without a word, he drove the car to his building. Upstairs, he slammed the door shut, pinned me against it, and pressed his lips against mine. He held me against the cold metal, and I trembled as his fingers traced my skin. What color is it today? Louis's eyes darkened, his voice laced with teasing as he looked at me. Catching his glance drifting toward my chest, I recalled the scene 2 months ago, when he helped me move. This guy, he couldn't possibly be referring to my underwear color, could he? Pervert, pure, unadulterated pervert. I twisted my body, slipping from his grasp like a fish. Louis, tell me, are you lusting after my beauty? Louis arched an eyebrow, his low, husky voice dripping with unbridled desire. If it's you, I covet everything.